Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session all about releasing insecurities. And I think a lot of people are insecure about certain things in their life, and this is about releasing those insecurities, taking ownership of those things that are you, that you can't change, and any of those historical insecurities that might come from childhood or long ago. You get to release those insecurities, but also to feel more playful and joyful. And I think a lot of adults kind of forget how to be playful, and they might find themselves in too much of a stressful situation, and everything has to be serious. And the client that I was working with certainly felt that way. They reached the age of about 30 and realized, for them, their realization is that they can't be gliding through life. They have to be more serious. And yet they knew someone that could be playful and productive and take responsibility seriously, but in a playful way. And that's really the essence of this hypnosis session, is to let go of those insecurities, but to feel that it is possible to be serious about the responsibilities, but playful or light about how you actually implement those responsibilities. So if you feel like you're taking life a bit too seriously, this could be a good session. Or if you've got some real insecurities, maybe there's things niggling in the back of your mind that just feel, insecure, and you want to let go of those, this could be a very helpful session. Please bear in mind, though, that it was created for an individual. So some of the suggestions would have been perfect for them and not quite right for you. So just disregard any suggestions that don't seem relevant for you. Really hone in on the ones that do. And if you like the idea of either a bespoke session or working with me directly, there will be a link in the show notes and the description where you can book a free consultation call over Zoom. We'll have a chat and you can see if I'm the right hypnotherapist to work with you. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you're not going to be disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense of release, as if feelings of tension, stress, or worries are starting to leave your body in your outward breath. Breathing in that resourceful relaxation as your eyelids get heavier and more relaxed. As you notice with your eyes closed how much easier it becomes to focus on the sound of my voice. And when you breathe in, imagine breathing in a color that represents worthiness. Whatever color comes to mind, make it brighter. And imagine breathing in that bright color of worthiness. And feel that it is recharging your battery of self-belief. And as you exhale, feel that any insecurities, any thoughts or fears of not being enough is leaving your body in your outward breath. And imagine giving that a dark grey colour as you breathe in the worthiness and exhale those insecurities. And many people are surprised to learn that emotions often have a home inside the body. Anxiety is sometimes in the gut. Stress is sometimes in the jaw or the neck. But I want you to scan your body for where those insecurities or fears may be. Maybe in the chest or the torso or somewhere else. But imagine breathing in that bright colour of worthiness. And imagine it melting away or dissolving the very location of those insecurities. And then as you exhale, see those melted or dissipated insecurities then leaving your body. And as you do, notice your feelings of worthiness increase. Notice your self-belief start to become stronger. Notice that you start to evaluate all of your good qualities easily. Because if the definition of self-esteem is the contrast between your ideal self and your current self, a way in which people's self-esteem could be artificially low is to focus on the difference rather than what's exactly the same. And I want you to think about all of those things that are exactly the same in who you are now and who you would want to be. Perhaps your ability to learn, the kind of person you are as a friend, your intelligence. I want you to find that feeling of gratitude and appreciation for all of your most wonderful qualities. And as you breathe in that colour of worthiness, and those insecurities continue to leave your body, you notice that the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you're becoming. And the more relaxed you're becoming, the deeper you breathe. Each breath taking you deeper and deeper than the last. And as your physical body relaxes, your imagination awakens. And I want you to imagine thinking back to a memory of you in your past when you were oozing self-confidence, when there was a playful, easygoing spirit. I want you to think of a time when you were smiling often, and perhaps you had responsibilities, but you met those responsibilities with a powerfully resourceful way. And when you can imagine that version of you, playful and resourceful, perhaps even fearless, knowing that that version of you was more than enough, then imagine going back to that moment like an invisible observer. See how you talked and moved and made decisions, how you influenced other people, and how you solved problems. And start to mimic that version of you. Breathe the way they breathe. Perhaps even mimic a facial expression or a way of looking. And when you're utterly convinced that that version of you had all the resources and levels of self-belief that would be very useful for you now, then step into that version of you so you start to feel how you felt back then. Unshakable self-belief. And I want you to imagine someone challenging you back then, telling you that you're not doing enough, you're not responsible enough. And I want you to feel what you would say in response. And perhaps you would feel that you can hear their words but disagree with them. You could get curious as to find out what's not quite there, and you decide if you can improve that thing, learn something new, or perhaps reject their suggestion entirely and highlight all the things that you're doing to disprove them. But you could do that with a smile on your face, relaxed, playful, and confident. No need for seriousness here. And I want you to feel that that level of self-belief, that resourceful feeling, also has a home inside your body. Imagine a color and a shape there in that location. And let's make it a three-dimensional shape. And that way you can see if that three-dimensional shape is moving in some way. Then just amplify the color, the size, and the movement until you feel you have unshakable self-belief. You feel more than good enough. And you feel so resourceful that if you do need to solve a problem or learn something new, then you can just figure it out. I want you to imagine noticing your inner dialogue when you feel this way. Encouraging, supportive, backing you 100%. No doubts, certainty, rock solid certainty. I want you to imagine leaving that place and floating forwards in time and finding someone that you believe has the ability to have big responsibilities, perhaps a serious role, and yet a youthful, playful, fun energy connected to it. And when you can imagine seeing that person that has those qualities, let me know by nodding your head. And maybe it's a friend or someone you admire. Or maybe it's someone you know that you've never met, but you just know they have that playful, youthful energy and yet have incredibly big responsibilities in a serious or high-stakes role. And I want you to observe that person. That for them, they don't need to be serious in order to do something serious. I want you to see how they find that perfect balance. to be serious about what they're doing, but perhaps fun or playful or tenacious or creative in terms of how they're doing it. I want you to picture a swan on a lake. You see it gracefully gliding on the surface, but underneath, they are ferociously paddling. But you don't see the chaos, you see the gracefulness. And I want you to imagine that this person that you're watching could be doing something serious under the surface, yet going about it in a playful, fun, relaxed way. And then imagine stepping into that person, taking on their perspective, feeling how you would feel to get the balance just right, to have the responsibilities, to do important things, but to be free, to reawaken that youthful, fearless version of you, and know that it is enhancing your ability to do it. Feel that you are reawakening all of those neural pathways, feeling that it's possible to have responsibilities, to be grown up, and yet have that youthful, playful energy. And now go forwards even more in time to your future. And I want you to imagine seeing you in your near future with a different facial expression, different body language, a flexibility, a freedom, a playfulness. And maybe the clue is that you're smiling more or moving differently. But I want you to imagine that you're seeing yourself in a responsible situation or something high stakes. And yet, that version of you, the future version of you, doesn't seem stressed, has no self-doubt. I want you to see a version of you filled with confidence, self-belief, but an easygoing, free nature. Playful, relaxed, and yet confident, decisive, and responsible. And if you could imagine that future version of you with that fusion, the right qualities to help, the right responsibilities, let me know by nodding your head. And sometimes in a shop, when you're trying on new clothes, you try them on to see if they fit. And I want you to step into this version of you to see if it feels right. That you can have that inner certainty, that self-belief, that confidence, that playful, youthful nature, and yet still have those responsibilities. And if you need to make any tweaks or amendments to get it just right, then make those adjustments now. Because being playful doesn't mean being silly. And being filled with self-belief doesn't mean being arrogant. I want you to find the optimum level, the sweet spot, where it's just right. And then just imagine experiencing what you experience in that responsible or high stakes or grown-up situation. and yet you feel different. Less weight, less heaviness, less seriousness. That even if the situation is serious, you don't need to be. And once you've test-driven that version of you and made the adjustments and find the right combination, let me know by nodding your head. Those old neural pathways are awakening. And if there's anything blocking that shift, be willing to test it out. And if it doesn't quite work in reality, you are so resourceful you can just figure out what needs to be changed and changed it. But if you have the willingness to figure it out as you go along, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. Reawakening that resourceful version of you full of self-belief and confidence. Feeling immune to those fears of not being enough. Because this version of you knows that you are more than enough. And anyone that doesn't value is a reflection of them and not a reflection of you. Because you determine your value, not other people. It's time to leave this place, the past, the present, and the future, knowing in every case you are resourceful, you have that self-belief, and you feel worthy. So imagine starting to return back to your physical body in the present. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As very soon I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. And you will awaken feeling resourceful, like you've let go of a lot of insecurities and have reawakened that side of you that has been dormant for too long. And over the next few days, don't be surprised if you notice either subtle or dramatic shifts, giving you evidence that the transition and reawakening is continuing. Starting to account to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button or follow button to make sure that you're automatically notified of any future episodes that I release. Also, by doing that, it lets the algorithm know that you like this show, and that will put it in front of even more people that might not know that this show exists. So that would be helpful for me. And if you like the stuff that I do, take a moment just to have a look in the show notes or the description, because there's lots of free things that I have to offer, including free hypnosis downloads without the intro or the outro like I'm doing now. So thank you again for joining me on today's episode, and I'll see you again soon for the next one.